Cyber wellness is the well being of internet users as we navigate cyberspace. It focuses on equipping netizens like us with the knowledge and skills for positive purposes and to maintain a safe and positive presence in cyberspace. On this note, I would like to invite Dr. Harish Shetty on stage, a senior psychiatrist at Dr. L.H. Hiranandani Hospital and our advisory member, a mental health warrior and an institution in himself. Dr. Harish Shetty has 37 years of relevant experience. Dr. Harish Shetty specializes in anger management, depression treatment, suicidal behavior, gastroenteritis treatment. सर बहुत कुछ दिया है और पढ़ना चाहिए. 37 इयर्स कैसे मैं अकोमोडेट कर पाऊंगा. अहो तेच तर विशेष आहे तुमचं की तुम्ही एवढ्याच्यात एवढं साठलंय. Violent patient management and de-addiction. So here we have a Murti Lahan but a Kirti Mahan person. So can we have a big round of applause for Dr. Shetty, please?
I think what a wonderful introduction, but your clapping is so boring. It's like the upma clap. Maza nahi aaya. I want an omelette bread clap. Just to add what he said, Goa is the first state that appointed counselors in schools by the government. First state in the country. Many of them would be here or they would have got married and left, but I wouldn't know. How many of you are here? The first state, very nice. We all met at the interview? Rukma, me and others, isn't it? Wonderful. So nice to be with you guys. Let us all stand up and say a prayer. Now you're all surprised. No, which prayer is this? But the surprise element is always good. All the women, please leave your bags down. The bag is something which you don't leave all the time. धरूनच बसतात तुम्ही. कोंकणीत उलोवपाक जाय, इंग्लिशात उलोवपाक जाय. English, na? Let's start. And you'll repeat the prayer after me. Every child is important. All children are equal. Every child is different. All children can learn. No child is born a criminal. Transformation is possible in every child. Thank you guys. What a lovely prayer, isn't it? You should actually pray in your schools all the time. And that really, please sit down, ma'am. Please sit down. And when I speak about cyber wellness, I'm not going to give you technological ways of handling cyberbullying. Ye app dalo, parental control kar. Nanti guys was the brightest. Creativity can come from anywhere. And honestly, simplest minds are the most profound. My dear friends, now how do you blend cyber wellness, cyber activity with your life? Now, there are three ways of looking at it. Teachers are abrogating their work. Audio bago, video bago. Pythagoras is in the video. Horrible fellow, Pythagoras. And the other fellow, Archimedes. Third-rate fellow. Instead of using pure soap in the tub, he wrote an equation. I mean, come on, it's too much. And that Newton, you know that Newton, 1 apple, 3 laws. If 2 had fallen, he would have written 6 laws. Horrible guy. But the power of the teacher in the class can never be negated. And I do not want teachers to abdicate the responsibility to the social media for learning, though it's a great asset. Social media is not an addition, it's a blending. I am the social media is me. And the power of stories in a class, I still remember this incident. One girl was very upset because one of the boys was sending her a lot of messages which were not appropriate. And she said, I could only talk to the geography teacher. Why? Because the geography teacher would just get the globe in the class and create World War inside the classroom. That is the power of story. And if you lose the power of story and tell everything is on media so that you learn, That's not negotiating media. That's not negotiating cyber wellness. The power of sharing and the power of children. When will we start in our school, children teaching children? You think they're not bright? They will teach much better than many teachers. Sister is actually nodding. Which school, sister? You nodded like this. Which center?
Home for the HIV.
Home for the HIV positive. Yeah, very true. So do not underestimate children. The schools which put children as a part of the teaching process will do extremely well. Do not underestimate the power of sharing. And many times we see teachers who are younger doing much better than the teachers who are older. But they're always ridiculed. Dignity na, ulaita, distance na. No, I think it's so important to look at this as very important. Amar Chitra Katha is going to come out with something very important. Now, cyber wellness need the development of information and media literacy skills. Okay, and wearing your emotions on your sleeve is not emotional intelligence, but being equanimous, having samanta, having emotional regulation is something which is very important in cyber wellness. So, my dear friends, fine balance between techno-optimism. By the way, the techno-optimism guy is the other side. Huh? It's not the pictures are ulta. So, I mean, you will get, I don't want to be punished. The government is also BJP. Techno-optimism is, amen. Jai Shankar. Technology is phenomenal, my God. I still remember both my sons are LD. So my younger son reads a lot. Elder son, he wouldn't read. So I asked my younger son, Arey Kanad, what should I do for my elder son to read and he will not go into all those things which he does all the time. He said, Daddy, you don't know, LD children can't read. They need audiobooks and that's much better. And that really clicked. So I would say techno-optimism would be using media optimally and optimistically. Let's not go back. Let's not go too ahead. Let us be there on the middle. My dear friends, oh, malum hai na, cyber bullying, privacy violation, etc. You all know that. Now, digital resilience. Manje kai. Now, by the way, don't write all this. Please give the slides to everybody. Ideas have no ownership. It has its life, energy, and action of it. Please give it to everybody. I don't own anything. I get all these ideas because thousands of people across 37 years. 37? Mala matara sangto re child. I have been influenced by people across, and that's why I say this. So you can take all the slides with you. So positive attitudes and actions and in the face of online adversity. Children who are resilient don't report bullying data. Don't report. They feel like, theek hai, kuch nahi. Kya hai? I would get so upset when I was trolled on Twitter. Yes, the other day I wrote a post. WHO said that alcohol, even in small doses, may create cancer. The latest. Earlier they said social drinking, 2 pek pine ka, 1 pek pine ka, 3 din mein 1 bar pine ka. All that is closed. And I wrote, in the New Year's Eve, why can't we look at alcohol? And they wrote, Shetty bar pehle band kar. Baad mein bol. So you're trolled. Initially I would get very agitated. But by working with Sonali, Udmesh and the team, my cyber resilience improved. Mukul. So now I don't respond. I don't respond. So that is what is positive attitude. My dear friends, student sense of responsibility. I'll tell you, let the students create the program for cyber wellness across the year. They'll do it much better than you. They'll have much better ideas. Because the simplest minds are the most profound. And that, I think, is so valid. Meaning of privacy. This is a word where I conduct 4-hour workshops. 4 hours. My son said, Daddy, don't disturb me inside my room when he was in 8th standard. I went and showed him my flat agreement. First thing. Konacha nav hai. No, we have to understand this is becoming a big problem in our country. Okay. And then he said, Daddy, I said, no. Indians are known to have panchayat. They want to know what the other person is doing. And that's a very positive attitude. They identify disorders, they identify illnesses, they do a lot of other things, but it's so, I said, nothing doing. And there we don't become American parents. Well, it's your choice. It's not your choice. You have to come and eat in the hall with everybody. He or she might rebel, no problem. No problem. We should not be upset of tears and little pain. Allowing the child to experience pain will improve wellness. Young mothers, now who's young we don't know because of the L'Oreal and Godrej, no? Honestly, we don't know, yeah. Priya, honestly. Purush, सगळे बायका सगळे घालून टाकतात. Young mothers are so worried about 2 drops of tears falling. रडनो दो यार. अरे रोने दो. So I told my son, you have to eat here. Few days he said, he ate less. Protest India, eat less, mother or child. Mala bhook nahi lagat. But the point is, they came around. So privacy, this business of my room has to, even if you are rich enough to have a full bungalow, nothing, there are many activities you have to do inside your room. You can't, and one more rule, laptop's not inside your own room. No, I'm studying, no problem. Drawing room. This is a very simple intervention. And remember, my dear friends, long ago I would say, trust your child completely. I've changed. Badal diya maine. Vaishali ka sun ke. I changed. I said, trust your child completely, but keep your eyes open. Very important. Go and put it as a poster in your schools. Go and shout this sentence in your parents' meeting and don't tell my name. Use your name. My dear friends, let me share something very important. I scanned through all the studies. There is no evidence of what works where. Different countries have different target populations. We don't have evidence what works where. So what is very important is whatever you try, create data. Create data. This worked in my school. It might not work in some other school. This worked with Agris in my school. This worked with Saraswats. This worked with this community. This worked with the poor. This worked with the rich. This worked with the marginalized people or communities. Something you need to really create because we don't have enough data. Now, evidence shows that the best way to promote cyber safety and digital citizenship is to create a framework that suits the need of the targeted population. So, focus group discussions. How do we bring down? I still remember when I still work with children who are on the game, COD, I tell them to bring the laptop and teach me the game. उनके सोच के दायरे में घुसना important है. Get into the frame of reference of the child and they would be excited. And the trance state, just drop a sentence. You think you can bring it down by 2 hours a day? It works in many, but not in all. So it's extremely important to be enlightened of different ways of cyber unwellness. My dear friends, Singapore has this model in their curriculum. I think in my understanding, all the experts are here, this one country which has put this in the curriculum. But they have not given evidence of what works, how it works still. They say sense, think and act. Sense, think and act. That is a model you will be able to read. Now, sense means identify the possible risks of harmful behaviors online and learn how to protect oneself. Second is to analyze, evaluate and reflect on the online situation based on the 3 CW principles. That is respect for self, safe and responsible use, and positive peer influence. Translate understanding to action so as to be safe. I still remember when we create models for suicide prevention, we have in the classes Apna Khabri. Khabri माहिती आहे का तुम्हाला? ह्या पोलीस लोकांना माहिती आहे. People who are the eyes and the ears of difficult behaviors. Remember one thing, I still hear that child is from a good family, still she was watching porn or he was watching porn. What is good family? Anybody can be bullied. Any child can cross the border and get on the other side of the table and be really, there's nobody who's resilient completely. As I say, when I was younger, psychiatry, and they said only those who come from troubled families, alcoholic families and mental ill families are prone to drug addiction. No, as of now, Vak Sahib, cannabis is more available than chocolate. Anybody is prone to substance abuse. Similarly, any child is prone to cyberbullying, consequence, suicide, very common. Remember that, very, very common. So what is very important for us to do here? When we create an environment in schools, the children can share much better. What are the 3 things we can do? One is a teacher has to share her life with the children, appropriate to the age and appropriate to her comfort. You can't say, तुम तुम्हारा जिंदगी बताओ. तो cyber खेलता है. Why should he or she child should share with anybody who is not connected to her at all? He is connected only because of geography, history, maths and science. Teachers have to be storytellers and share some part of their life. Not because they feel the need, but because that's a good strategy. And children will come back. Number 2, in the families. Extremely important, the second software. Helping children to share bad stories early. And how does it happen? When parents share their bad stories. काय केलं मी झालं, काय कुठे इन्व्हेस्ट केलं, सगळं पैसे गेलं. काय केलं मी त्या बायकोशी कसं लग्न केलं. मला कळलं. Sharing bad stories of the day in the office. Children say, what, daddy, you did this, I also did this, my God, what happened? They will come and share the issues, and that helps the children to reveal much earlier so that they can be corrected. And that is so important. The third thing which is very important is create a safe space inside the schools. Don't wait for him to be an adult. Safe space म्हणजे जिथे आपण emotionally नागडा होतो. There can be never other word. See, laughing, isn't it true? And creating that space in those environments are important so that any issue which comes up will be handled. Some important people have come. काय या ना, पुढे या ना, वय काय करता तुम्ही, या इथे या. Sir, come here. अरे बापरे, 5 ऐकलं का? Now, even if I say that, या ना, straight यायचं ना पुढे, मागे फिरायचं. Thank you, sir, for coming. Thank you. So what is so important is, I said democratic, I said dialogue. संवाद से समानता, संवाद से संगठन, संवाद से संघर्ष, संवाद से समरसता. But much more than that, sometimes power also plays an important role. When interns come to me, they all were on the phone. Huh? I am treating and they are on the phone. I said, Kanoon, Punjabi say Kanoon. No phones when I am treating. If you want to do something, go out and do. So state board kids are much better. You fire them, they listen. State board, simple children. Karpak na, band karak. Listen. ICSE board, IGCSE board, inspiration. ICSE board, inspiration. Project banao. Make a project of cyber wellness. They listen. IGCSE board, discussion. What do you think can really happen? But in India now, firm parenting also works. Sometimes you can't convert yourself to be a lollipop teacher. Lollipop teacher. You have to also sometimes be firm and really and really be like either not this guy, huh? Not this guy. He wants land in 19 countries. Sab jagah ye hai mera. My dear friends, cyberbullying causes suicides. There's a lot of evidence from the West. We don't have data. It causes suicides, and you really have to be sensitive. You can't say, "Arey, क्यों इतना react करता है?" All the automatic thoughts which you get, why do you react like this? It's not right. It happens. I have been bullied. A big thing what counselors say, not in Goa. Not in Goa. I have also been bullied. See me. Teachers are worse. Makabag. I come from poor place. I was beaten by Fusilamna. Why you do? No. It is dangerous. It is risky because children of today are brittle because their mothers have asked, what will you eat tomorrow morning? My mother said, whatever is made you eat. Barobar na, sir. Barobar na. So they're brittle. When you give choice, you also give critical thinking, but you also make them not resilient. And sometimes that's important. So it's important that cyberbullying take it very seriously because victims choose to die rather than face any consequences. My dear friends, we get a lot of children, all the psychiatrists and the psychologists would know there are underlying factors. Some children come and say, I stop overthinking when my thoughts, ruminating thoughts really stop. And all the psychologists will understand that. And they gravitate towards excessive use of media. Okay? block sadness, depressed people get into it, and they spend, all those who spend 13 hours and 14 hours, addicts, 13, 14, and they beat their parents if they come and interrupt. And the parents are so ashamed. I still remember this husband who was so ashamed to tell his friends that his son beat him up. He said his wife beat him up. And honestly, the office people did not believe. They came home and they checked that this boy was playing before. And then when we saw underlying sadness and depression, okay? Third is cure boredom. काय जायला हिस्ट्री काय जायला तो केला मेला तो जन्मला आपला बापाचं काय जातो. Boredom. And having nothing to do in the evening is one of the most serious risk factors for all forms of addiction. And peer comfort is also. I still remember, Anuradha, I went to my friend's house. Inside a girl was, shoot him. I didn't understand whom is she shooting and why is she shooting. I didn't understand. Then I said, what is happening? Is she seeing him? No, PUBG she's playing. So peer also is something which is very important. My dear friends, all the mothers in the country are aspirational and anxious. Aspirational and anxious. Many children come and tell me, I can't come to your clinic because he has tuitions. Which standard? Third standard. My God, horrible. So bringing down the angst of the parents in parent-teachers meetings improves cyber wellness. Yes. And children attend 3 schools. Tegala school, tuition school, Moy school. Come give a report, no? All your schools, report day, no report, kids, what did you learn? Don't give a report because she will not read it. Go and spend 15 minutes with her with tea and say that, I actually want to have tea with mama. You never call me for, they don't call you counselors for tea, they call the other teachers. And the vice principal who can throw her out as a principal's job. And share with them passionately, this is what we can do. And from that, see what they will help you to implement, and that is something which I think you can do. Well, my experience across 37 years, 40 years, 40 varsha. वाचला नाही तो into internet वाचला नाही बरोबर. You know what? I interact with a lot of spiritual organizations across board. I know St. Vincent de Paul, Couples for Christ. I know parish priest. I know Mother Superior, Provincial, and Swaminarayan Samstha, Swadhyay. There are a lot of small, see what's happening across the world is people are gravitating to spiritual people. That's an advantage also. And I see small families doing spiritual activity in their home. And the experience is that boy had long hair. He was always on the phone. But when he started coming to these activities, things changed. He stopped the phone. He started concentrating on studies. And all our groups should also work on cyber wellness. So it depends upon what sort of phones do you use and what time do you sleep at night and which begum you see in OTT. Tell me the babe you see.
I never see on OTTs.
You see babes live.
No.
I'm just joking, sir. I did not know Hara's walk, sir. I wanted to come there. We are endangered species. All women here, no? Endangered species. My dear friends, Chamma. Anyway, use the power of God. Use the power of Kul Devta. Don't just put a cowl and go away. हिचं लग्न होणार का कौल टाका पडली ह्या वेळी तर झाला ह्या इथे पडलं तर नाही होणार असं नका करू. Let the priests also get involved in managing cyber wellness. My dear friends, as I slowly stop, policy. What will you do if you catch somebody who has been bullying others? What is your policy? I'll tell you a story. There was a girl who lost her mother in COVID. My school, which I run. And unfortunately, all the boys started, they meme. What the hell is meme? Chammaila, आपल्याला काही माहीतच नाही meme काय, theme काय. And they sent dirty memes to her. Your mom is dead. What will you do? Why don't you die? And there was chaos. I had to take a decision. Never throw any child. No child is born a criminal. Transformation is possible in him. Those principals who offer TCs and LCs, they will go to hell. Sachi. Whatever church they may go, 100 times, Kuldevta, 1,000,000 times. If you throw a child out of the school, hell. Sister, isn't it correct? Now you have to give the stamp on that. My dear friends, this girl was shattered. And the father of the boy said, show me evidence. My father would give me 2 tight slaps if I do it. I still remember when I used to break all the glasses of people's houses. My father would say, pay the fellow from your pocket money. Ata kiti paise zalat mi deto. And that is something which is very dangerous. Lack of faith in institutions of retribution. शिकायत पर विश्वास जाना नहीं चाहिए. It's so important to understand, my dear friends, that this girl, we took her out of this, but the father was supporting the boy who was bullying. And then what we do? We do Hari Shetty method. We make the fellow sit and we look into his eyes. Last resort, don't start it first. Do you want to destroy the life of your son? If you allow him to do this, tomorrow you are the person. And the bigger the car keys, the harder you hit. Barabar hai na? Bigger the car keys. And then you do that existential interaction. And then I calmed him down. Then the best is to find whether the wife is compassionate to this girl, the wife of the bully, and see that both the bully and the child. I still remember this incident, my dear friends. A girl in a school was trolled, bullied by her male friends at the size of her mother's breast. And this is in the famous schools, who's schools, and she was completely shattered. The school has a mechanism of protecting all information, but now the Cold War is over. You can't hide information. And the child was so you have to be firm on bullies. Firm means you have to have time out. 15 days you can't come. And on that day, you'll have to go and work in this NGOs. And those guys with big keys, don't get scared. Remember, the school principal is more powerful than any chief minister of the state. You should nothing doing, you have to go. And be firm. Stand on your principles. Because the child might change when he goes and works with difficult population. That is something we need to do. My dear friends, let me share. Rashmi Karandikar was once in the past. You know what she told me? She showed me all cases. All the guys who are involved in cyber crime are 10th pass and 12th pass. And all the victims are CA, CS, doctors, engineers. And it's a revenge by all those LD children who have been thrown out of schools. Abhi chhodega nahi. And I've interviewed many young men above 18, of course, what happened to them. And this is what happened to them. Evening time, late night is the most vulnerable time for children. Late night. That's the time you say, I love you, I'll kill you. Both love, kill, or whatever. And there's something as a DGP syndrome, drugs, games, and porn, all interviewed on TV. So this man was chased by somebody for a long time. And suddenly he said, I'm in Delhi, I need some money. And he removed 7 lakhs from his pocket. So kids also are victims of this. So it's important to understand that those guys who are extremely manipulative, very intelligent, and they can cheat anybody, you or me. And she is a lady whom I got. Now, Sonali, this is your slide. I have not put it. Unmesh, did you put this slide? Loneliness is a disease, my dear friends. Even if a child is in between, the midst of everybody, she is lonely. And loneliness can also be a sign of depression. Children who are lonely and alone are more prone to... Well, it all started with George Bush. Either you are with us or with them. It's a bipolar world. Hate is the biggest disease. Kids fight in schools in Bombay over religion. They hear the parents saying in the mud, and there's a lot of hate, and we need to start a campaign on love. There's no debate. There's the guy who says every time, let's debate. There's no debate, there's hate. You have to fight this venom because hate also increases cyber unwellness. Because and anybody from the age of 12 to 80 is involved. And this is a very big disease which causes cyber unhealthiness. Now Sonali is moving a little ahead. Manje माझा बंद करायचा time झाला. All these hints we have picked up across experience. Plastic bag, watch, asa. Then somebody will walk from there and go back. That's the biggest. I'll stop in 2 minutes. My dear friends, let me please help you to focus on hate. This is not depression, this is not anxiety, this is not OCD. Improve the climate of love and saman equanimity in your school. Mindfulness, equanimity. Those schools who do yoga are doing very well. Across the country when I travel, those schools which do some form of meditation, tasbih, rosary, yoga, Shambhavi Mahamudra, Sudarshan Kriya, those children are calm in the 10th standard. And don't ask, what, do you want to do yoga? Do you ask, do you want to learn geography? You teach, no? Do it. Don't be ashamed, it's cool to do yoga. How many of you do yoga? Why are you doing this? If you're doing, put your hands up full. Very nice. Anyway, so it's important to have meditative practice in schools, my dear friends. We have to fight this. You have to fight. My sister, B.K. Shivani, good friend of mine, made a very beautiful argument with me the other day when we met. She said, you know, Harish, 7 billion people have been thinking negative across the last 3 years, across COVID. And I see a lot of children in angst, depression, suicidal across the last 6 to 8 months. Very high number. Very high number. I've admitted 8 to 10 kids in the last 3 months. Admitted. We don't admit children. And she said there's a lot of negativity. And the best way is to change the environment in schools and colleges by speaking about love. Go against the tide. And this is something we need to do. My dear friends, cyber wellness. No, you have to give me a proper clap later. Huh? Don't pataw me with little clapping. Huh? काय म्हणते तुम्हाला शॉक झालं असं सगळं ऐकून. You know what, my dear friends? Children are affected by the father and the mother watching OTT on the edges of the bed. She is watching somebody, he is watching somebody. Children are affected by all the WhatsApp messages they see in the mother's phone or in the father's phone. And so what is very important is managing the health of parents. This is a beautiful sentence by my friend, Honorable Justice Roshan Dalvi, a High Court judge with whom I work at many forums. And remember, my dear friends, as I stop, I would like to share 4 things. Number 1 is cyber wellness has to be on the foundation of wellness of the school. Has to be on the foundation of improving the entire equanimity in schools. Cyber wellness has to be on the foundation of learning technological solutions. Cyber wellness should be on the foundation with the belief that anybody is prone to cyber violence. So my dear friends, I always love to come to Goa, and I don't have feni, but I hope that you have chonak in the lunch, prawns and pomfret. Yesterday night I went to this thing, basa. Basa I'll go and eat in Vietnam. Scavenger fish. In Goa they give basa. Horrible. Don't go to these places where they give basa. Chonak, prawns, pomfret. So with this, my dear friends, before you give me a thunderous applause, I thank Sonali, Unmesh, and the entire team here and there and for doing wonderful work across time. Goa is blessed to have this center. My friend Rakesh and all this, Mukta, an old friend of mine, Anuradha ji, Milan, for doing great work across time. And please keep this flag flowing. Please keep this kitchen running and see to it that you are responsible for the health of hundreds of children. The impact you have on children is phenomenal. You do not know how it is. With this, thank you.
Hello. Wow. I think that's the only word that I can think of right now. But I would definitely like to say, either you have to be blessed to hear and someone's like him to speak, or you have to be lucky to get a person like him to guide you. Do I need to tell you what we want at this moment right now? He said communication, and he also spoke something about the power. So let us display this in one single action. Communication through claps and power through the noise of your claps. Can I hear that once again for him? Thank you, sir. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Brilliant.